begin with our warm-up. What we're going to begin with today is actually high knees. So what you want to do for your high knees is you're just going to stand in place. You're going to have your feet, your shoulder width apart, and you're going to pick them up as high as you can, and you're just going to go up. You want to try to make it as fast as you can, getting those legs up and getting that heart going. We're going to do one set of these for a minute, beginning now. Doing good, halfway there. And time. That is the end of that exercise. Going to take a little breather and we'll be back for the next exercise. We're back. We're going to move on to our next exercise. We're going to be doing our called back leg lifts. So what you're going to want to do is you're just going to want to stand up, keeping your posture straight. You're just going to pick your leg up at a 90-degree angle. If you need assistance, you're just going to hold on to a chair and do it from there. We're going to do one set for a minute. Beginning now. Doing good. Almost done. Keep pushing through. Good. And time. That is the end of that exercise. We're going to take a little breather and we'll be back for our next exercise. We're back. We're going to move on to our next exercise where we're going to be doing our called squat hops. So what you're going to want to do is open your feet a little wider than shoulder width apart. You're going to want to get a slight little squat going. And all you're going to do is just try to hop up as high as you can. We're going to do 2 sets of these for 1 minute each. Beginning now. Doing good. Almost done. Keep pushing through. Doing good. 15 more seconds. And time. That is the end of that set. Gonna take a little breather and be back for the second set. We're back. We're gonna move on to our second set of squat hops. Remember, it's for a minute. Beginning now. Doing good. the next exercise. We're back. We're going to move on to our next exercise. What we're going to be doing are called butt kicks. So what you're going to want to do is have your feet a little wider than shoulder width apart. With your left leg, you're going to kick your heel to the opposite side of your butt cheek and vice versa. You're just going to keep doing that. For a minute, we're going to do 2 sets, beginning now. Making sure our posture is up, that we're breathing in and out. Doing good. More seconds, keep pushing. Almost done. And time. That is the end of our first set. Going to take a little breather and move on to our second set. We're back. We're going to move on to our second set of rocking butt kicks. Remember, it's for a minute, beginning now. Just 2 more seconds. Three, two, one, time. That is the end of that exercise. We're going to take a little breather and we'll be back to move on to the next exercise. We're back. We're going to be moving on to our next exercise. What we're actually going to be doing are called hip pulls. So for a hip pull, what you're going to want to do is you're just going to want to bring your leg up and make sure you pull it into you. Bring it back down softly, then grab the next one and pull that one in. We're going to be doing that. We're going to do 2 sets, 1 minute each. If you're sitting down, you're going to be doing the same thing. You're just going to be reaching for your leg and pulling it into you as much as you can. Beginning now. Doing good. Good. Pulling it in more every single time that you come in. Slowly but surely it'll go up higher. Just feel that stretch as you're pulling it in. Doing good. Doing good. Almost done. And time. That is the end of that set. We're going to take a little breather and be back for the second set. It's beginning now. Good. Doing really good. At your own pace, you're doing good. Almost done. Almost done, almost done. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, time. That is the end of that exercise. We're going to take a little breather and be back for the next exercise. We're back. We're going to move on to our next exercise. What we're going to be doing are actually called ins and outs. So what you're going to want to do for those is get your feet a little wider than shoulder width apart. Make sure your hands are up. You're going to bring your feet in and then bring them out. If you need assistance, you're just going to go ahead and grab your chair. You're going to stand by your chair, and it's still going to be in, out, out. We're going to do 2 sets of these for a minute, beginning now. Go at your own pace. Doing good. Good. Almost done. And time. That is the end of our first set. We're going to take a 30-second breather and move on to our second set. We're back. We're going to move on to our second set of in and out. Remember, it's for a minute, beginning now. Doing good. Good push. Halfway there, doing really, really good. More seconds, almost done. Keep pushing through, doing really well. Almost done, finish strong. Three, two, one, time. That is the end of our warm-up section. We're going to take a little breather and we'll be back to begin with circuit 1. We're back. We're going to begin now with our first circuit. We're going to be moving on to our first exercise, which is under the power and strength exercise section. What we're going to be doing are called front to back lunges. So what those actually are is, whether you need assistance or not, you're going to grab the chair. You're going to go forward and back without ever bringing your foot down. We're going to do that for 3 sets, 15 seconds on each leg. Beginning now. As low as you can go. Doing good. Doing good. Keep pushing. Switch. Doing good. Almost done. And time. That is the end of our first set. We're going to take a little breather and move on to our second set. We're back. We're going to move on to our second set of front to back lunges, beginning now. Good. Doing good. Go ahead and switch. Good. Good control. At your own pace, you're doing really good. And time. That is the end of our second set. We're going to take a little breather. We're back. We're going to move on to our third set. Beginning now. Control. Squeeze the core. Maintain that posture. Doing good. Good. Go ahead and switch. To our next exercise. We're back. We're going to be moving on now to our next exercise in our power and strength section. What we're going to be doing are just calf raises. So what you're going to want to do, you're going to want to stand with your feet a little shoulder width apart, and you're just going to go up and hold, and then back down slowly. Back up and hold, and back down slowly. If you need assistance, you can go ahead and hold on to the chair as you're doing that. We're going to do 3 sets of 12 reps each one, beginning now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, doing good, 9, 10, 11, 12. Good. We're going to take a little breather and move on to our second set. We're back. We're going to move on to our second set of calf raises, beginning now. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 2 more. 12. Good. That was the end of our second set. We're going to take a breather and move on to our third set. We're back. We're going to move on now to our third set of calf raises. Remember, at 12 reps, beginning now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 11, 12. Good. That was the end of that exercise. We're going to take a breather and be back to move on to our next exercise. So we're back. What we're going to move on to now are called laying leg lifts. What you're going to want to do is get down on the ground very slowly. You're going to want to lay down on your back. What you're going to want to do is make sure that your belly button is sinking down, that your back stays flat, and at all times you're squeezing your core. It should never arch. What you're going to want to do is put your hands by your side, or you can make a diamond and put it under your tailbone. You're going to put your legs straight, and you're just going to lift, and lift, and lift. We're going to do 3 sets of 12, beginning. Beginning now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Good push. That was the end of our second set. We're going to take a little breathe, or our first set, I'm sorry, and we're going to move on to our second set. We're back. We're going to move on to our second set of laying leg lifts. Remember, it's 12 sets, making sure your core is pushing down into the ground, beginning now. 1, 2, 3, 4. Keep breathing. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Good. That was the end of our second set. We're going to take a little breather and move on to our third set. We're back. We're going to move on to our third set of laying leg lifts. Remember, 12 reps. Make sure to breathe. Beginning now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, keep going, 8, 9, almost done, 10, 11, one more, 12, good. That was the end of our core musculature exercise. We're going to take a breather and move on to our next exercise. We're going to move on to our next exercise. What we're going to be doing is called overhead pass. What you're going to want for this is a water bottle. You're going to get your feet shoulder width apart. You're going to have your water down to your side. You're going to raise both your hands up with the one water bottle, transitioning into your other hand, bringing it back down slowly, and repeat. We're going to do this for 30 seconds, and we're going to do 3 sets. You can also do this sitting down if you want the assistance. It's going to be the same thing. You're just going to keep sitting down and making sure your posture is straight up. Just going to bring your hands up together, transition the water bottle into the next one, and repeat. Remember, 3 sets, 30 seconds. Beginning now. Doing good. Good. Keep going. One more time. That is the end of our first set. We're going to take a little breather and move on to the second set. We're back. We're going to move on to our second set of overhead pass. Remember, 30 seconds, beginning now. Good. Good control. It's okay, it's okay. You're doing good. And time. That is the end of our second set. We're going to take a little breather and move on to our third set. We're back. We're going to move on to our third set of overhead pass. Remember, 30 seconds, beginning now. Doing good. Doing good. We're almost done. Keep pushing through. And time. That is the end of that exercise. We're going to take a little breather and we'll move on to our next exercise. We're back. We're going to move on now to our speed and agility section. What we're going to be doing are called line twists. So what a line twist is you're just going to stand facing either which way. You're going to make sure your top body stays straight, and you're going to rotate your hips to the right and then to the left, and you're just going to keep going down the line. We're going to do 3 sets of those for 20 seconds each one. Beginning now. Doing good. And back. You got it. Halfway there. Doing really good. 5, 4, 3, 2, time. That is the end of our first set. We're going to take a little breather and we'll be back to move on to our second set. We're back. We're going to move on to our Remember, 20 seconds beginning now. Good. Good speed. Doing good. Halfway there. And time. That is the end of our speed and agility section for this circuit. We're going to take a little breather and be right back. We're going to move on to our cardiovascular section. What we're going to be doing today are called box jumps. Remember to do these at your own pace. What you're going to want to do is stand in place. You're going to jump forward, to your right, backwards, to your left, making a square. You can jump as far as you want. You can go as fast as you want. Just make sure you maintain that pace because we are going to do 3 sets for a minute and 40 seconds each one. Beginning now. Doing good. Good. Doing really, really good. Your own pace, as low as you want, you're fine. Good. Halfway there, take your own pace. You're doing really, really well. Good. Almost done. Keep pushing through. our next circuit. Okay, so we're back. We're going to move on now to wall sit. So what a wall sit is actually you're just going to find an empty wall. You're going to lean up against it. You're going to bring your feet out, and you're going to want to go as low as you can, at least trying to make a 90-degree angle. If you can't go that far, go as low as you can. You're going to hold it for 15 seconds. We're going to do 3 sets of those. Beginning now. Doing good. And time. That is the end of our first set. We're going to take a breather and move on to the second set. We're back. We're going to move on to our second set. Remember, it's 15 seconds. Beginning now. Doing good. Keep breathing. Doing really, really good. And time. That is the end of our second set. We're going to take a little breather and move on to our third set. We're back. We're going to move on to our third set, beginning now. Doing good. And time. Good. That is the end of our first power and strength exercise. We're going to take a breather and move on to our second exercise. We're back. We're going to move on to our next power and strength exercise. What we're actually going to be doing are called squat pulses. So for a squat pulse, what you're going to want to do is get your feet a little bit wider than shoulder width apart, making sure your chest is up, leaving your hands up here, going down and down again, and back up and pushing hips forward. Down, down, back up and push your hips forward. If you need assistance, you're just going to go ahead, grab your chair, still remaining with your feet shoulder width apart, and going down, down, up, pushing your hips forward. We're going to do 3 sets of those for 20 seconds each, beginning now. Good. Doing really good. Good posture. Doing really good. And time. That is the end of our first set. We're going to take a little breather and move on to our second set. We're back. We're going to move on to our second set of squat pulses. Remember, it's for 20 seconds. Do you want to scoot a little bit back? Right there. Beginning now. Good. Try not to let your knees pass your toes. Good. Almost done. Time. That is the end of our second set. We're going to take a little breather and be back to finish off with our third set. We're back. We're going to move on to our third set of squat pulses, beginning now. Better, way better. Doing good. Good. And time. That is the end of this exercise. We're going to take a little breather and be back for our next exercise. We're back. We're going to move on now to our core and musculature exercise. What we're going to be doing are called standing tight crunches. So what you're going to want to do is pick your hands up. Make sure they're holding each other. You're going to pick up your leg, pulling your hands down to your toes. You want to make sure that as you're pulling down to your toe, every single time that you're squeezing that core, that you're sucking it in and making sure you're everything around there. We're going to do 3 sets of those for 30 seconds each, beginning now. Only as low as you can go, doing really good. Making sure to exhale as you're squeezing and inhaling as you're going up. Doing good. And time. That is the end of our first set. We're going to take a little breather and move on to our second set. We're back. We're going to move on to our second set of standing tight crunches beginning now. Good. Good. Making sure we're squeezing, doing really good. Halfway there. Almost done. 3, 2, 1, time. That is the end of our second set. We're going to take a little breather and move on to our third set. We're back. We're going to move on to our third and final exercise for the circuit of our core musculature. Remember, 30 seconds beginning now. Good. Done. Keep pushing through. And time. That is the end of that exercise. We're going to take a little breather and then we'll move on to our next exercise. We're back. We're going to move on to our next exercise. This one's going to be in our balance and stability section. What we're going to be doing are called lunge with a knee drive. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to go back into a back lunge. Come up and drive that knee up like a high knee. We're going to repeat that 3 times for 30 seconds, 15 seconds on each leg. If you need assistance, you can go ahead and grab the chair. It's going to be the same thing. You're going to lunge back, push yourself up, and bring that knee up. Remember, 3 sets, 15 seconds each leg, beginning now. Good. Make sure you're squeezing that core, keeping that posture up. Really good. Go ahead and switch. Control, control. Good. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. And time. That is the end of our first set. We're going to take a little breather and move on to our second set. We're back. We're going to move on to our second set. 30 seconds, 15 seconds on each leg, beginning now. Good. Squeeze, doing really good. One more. And go ahead and switch. Doing good. Almost time. Doing really, really good. One more. And time. That is the end of our second set. We're going to take a breather and move on to our third set. We're back. We're going to move on to our third set. Remember, 30 seconds beginning now. Good. Good. Control. Doing really good. Almost. Last one. Go ahead and switch. Good. Doing good. And time. That is the end of that exercise. We're going to take a breather and be back for our next exercise. We're back. We're going to move on now to our speed and agility section. What we're going to be doing are called circle runs. So what a circle run is you're just going to maintain your posture up. You're going to stay in a spot. You're going to start running forward and around, making your way around in a circle. We're going to do that for 15 seconds. We're going to do 3 sets of those, beginning now. Doing good. Good pace, good. And time. That is the end of our first set. We're going to take a little breather and move on to our second set. We're back. We're going to move on to our second set. We're going to move up the time a little bit. We're going to move it up to 20 seconds, beginning now. Good. Very good. Time. Oh, time. We're back. We're done with the second set. We're going to take a little breather and move on to our third set. We're back. We're going to move on to our third set of circle runs. 20 seconds, beginning now. Good pace. Doing really good. Five more seconds, push through. 2, time. That is the end of our speed and agility exercise for this section. We're going to take a little breather and move on to our next exercise. We're back. We're going to move on to our next exercise. The next one falls under the cardiovascular aerobic training section. What we're going to be doing are called low box steps. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to open your feet a little wider than shoulder width apart. You're going to want to get down a little bit and you're going to go forward, forward, back, back. And you're going to just keep doing that for 1 minute and 40 seconds. Beginning now. At your own pace, you're doing good. At your own pace, doing good. Doing really good. Almost. 3, 2, 1, time. That is the end of our first set. We're going to take a little breather and move on to our second set. We're back. We're going to move on to our second set of low box steps. Remember, it's 1 minute and 40 seconds, beginning now. Almost done. Push through. Doing good. 10 more seconds. And time. That is the end of our second exercise, of our second set. We're going to take a little breather and move on to our third set. We're back. We're going to move on to our third set of low box steps from right to a minute and 40 seconds. Beginning now. Good. Doing good. Very good. Keep breathing. That's a good pace. Really good. Really, really good. We're halfway there. Almost done, almost done. Keep breathing. 15 more seconds. Time. Good. That was the end of that set and the end of our second circuit. We're going to take a little breather and be back for our third circuit. We're back. We're going to move on to our next exercise. What we're actually going to be doing is called a split squat. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to bring your foot forward, making sure you're holding onto a chair. You're going to put your other foot on top of the other chair, making sure that like from your ankle to your toe is on the chair. You're going to want to squat down as far as you can go, and then back up. You're going to do 6 reps on each leg. We're going to do 3 sets of those. Also, make sure that your knee, when you go down, that it looks like a 90-degree angle. We don't want your knee to pass your toe. That's going to hurt and put strain on your knee. Make sure it's here or exactly at 90 degrees. Don't let it go further than that. Beginning now. 1, for sure there's a little bit more forward right now. 2, 3, good. 4, 5, doing good. 6, go ahead and switch. 1, 2, 3, good. 4, push through. 5, 6, good. That was the end of our first set. We're going to take a breather and move on to our second set. We're going to move on to our second set of split squats. Remember, it's 6 reps on each leg, beginning now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Good. Switch legs. That was really good. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Good. Go ahead and switch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Good. That was the end of that exercise. We're going to take a little breather and move on to our next exercise. We're back. We're going to move on to our second power and strength exercise of this circuit. Well, we're going to be doing our simple squats. What you're going to want to do is get your feet a little wider than shoulder width apart. Make sure your hands are up, that you're keeping your chest up at all times, looking straight or looking up as you're going down. Making sure you're going as low as you can, back up, then pushing your hips forward and squeezing your buttocks as you're coming up. We're going to do 3 sets of those. We're going to do 12 reps each time. For assisted, it's going to be the same thing. You're just going to get your chair. Make sure that your feet are shoulder width apart, that you're a good distance from it, but still close enough to hold it. Keeping your chest up, you're going to go as low as you can go, and back up. Remember, it's 3 sets, 12 reps. My first one, now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. That was the end of the first set. We're going to take a little breather and move on to our second set. We're back. We're going to move on to our second set of squats. Remember, it's 12 reps. Only go as low as you can go. Beginning now. 1. Good. 2. 3. Only as low as you can go. Doing really good. 4. 5. 6. Good. 7. 8. 9. 10. 11. One more. Doing really good. 12. Good. That is the end of our second set. We're going to take a breather and move on to our third set. We're back. We're going to move on to our third set of squats. Beginning now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. That is the end of our power and strength exercises for today. Going to take a breather and move on to our next exercise. We're back. We're going to move on to our core and musculature exercise. What we're going to be doing is called the cross-body crunch. So for that, what you're going to want to do is make sure your feet are a little wider than shoulder width apart. You're going to have one hand on your hip. You're going to have the other one kind of diagonal. You're going to bring your knee into your elbow and extend. Remember, as you're crunching, you're squeezing your core as much as you can and extending. We're going to do 3 sets of those for 30 seconds each one, 15 seconds on each side. Beginning now. And switching. second set. We're back. We're going to move on to our second set of cross body crunches, beginning now. Extend that arm. Good. Go ahead, switch. Very good. And time. That is the end of our second set. Going to take a breather and move on to our third set. We're back. We're going to move on to our third set of cross body crunches, beginning now. And switch. And time. That is the end of our core musculature exercises for today. Going to take a breather and move on to our next exercise. We're back. We're going to move on to our balance and stability exercises. What we're going to be doing is called the single leg figure four stand. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to stand up straight. You're going to want to bring your leg up to your knee and then turn it out like a figure four. And we're going to hold that for 20 seconds. And we're going to switch and hold the other leg for another 20 seconds. If you do need assistance, you're going to just hold onto your chair, making sure that you're balancing and squeezing your core, pulling your chest up, and maintaining that balance. Beginning our first set now. Doing good. Make sure you're squeezing your core, pulling up, pulling your chest up, doing really good. Doing good. Go ahead and switch. And begin. Doing good. Control, keep squeezing, doing really, really well. And time. That is the end of our first set. We're going to take a little breather and move on to the second set. We're back. We're going to move on to our second set. Remember, it's 20 seconds per side. Beginning now. And go ahead and switch. Time. That is the end of our second set. Going to take a breather and move on to our third set. We're back. We're going to move on to our third set. First 20 seconds, beginning now. Doing good. Go ahead and switch. Good. Keep breathing, doing really well. And time. That is the end of our balance and stability exercise. We're going to take a little breather and move on to our next one. We're back. We're going to move on now to our last cardiovascular and aerobic training section. What we're actually going to be doing frog jumps. So for frog jumps, what you're going to want to do is make sure your feet are a little wider than shoulder width apart. You're going to want to grab your hands from the air. You're going to want to bring them all the way down and jump and jump. If you want to modify it, what you're going to do is still keep your feet shoulder width apart, still keeping your hands in the air. You're going to bring them down and go as low as you can. If you can touch the ground, even better. And then back up. And then all the way back down and back up. Remember, you're only going as low as you can go. We're going to do 3 sets of these for 1 minute and 40 seconds. Beginning now. As low as you can go only. Make sure not to overdo it. You're doing good. Doing good. Make sure not to try to let your knees touch your toes. Good. It's really good. Doing good. Doing good. Halfway there, doing good. At your own pace, you're doing good. Almost done. Almost done. Keep pushing. And time. That is the end of our first set. Gonna take a little breather and move on to the second set. We're back. We're gonna move on to our second set of frog jumps. Remember, it's for 1 minute and 40 seconds. Beginning now. Remember, make sure to keep a steady pace. Gotta go for a whole minute and 40 seconds. Time. We're back. We're going to move on to our our third and final set. Beginning now. Good. Doing good. Cool. our cardiovascular section. We're going to take a breather and move on to our cool down. We're back. We're going to move on to our cool down section. What we're going to begin with, it's actually called just a hamstring stretch. What you're going to want to do is make sure that your foot is dorsiflexion. You're going to make sure that it's pointing straight up. You're going to bend your other knee slightly and you're going to reach for your toe. We're going to hold that for 30 seconds. Come up. And then we're going to switch, go back down for another 30 seconds with the opposite foot. We're going to do that for 2 minutes, beginning now. Go ahead and come up. Switch feet. Back up. Make sure you're breathing and go ahead and switch. Back up. Go ahead and switch. Okay, go ahead and relax it. We're going to move on to our next exercise. What we're going to be doing now is just the inside thigh stretch. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to open your legs wider than shoulder width apart, and you're going to want to lean into a lunge to one side. We're going to hold one side for 30 seconds, switching to the next side for another 30 seconds, doing that for 2 minutes straight, beginning now. As slow as you can go, doing really, really good. Go ahead and switch. Doing good. Doing really, really good. Control, control. Keep holding. Go ahead, relax it and switch. Go ahead and relax that and go ahead and switch. Doing good. Keep holding. on to our next exercise. What we're going to be doing now is called standing straddle. So what you're going to do is open your feet a little wider than shoulder width apart. We're going to start with our hands up. Going to come down to the middle just as far as you can go. Going to hold that for 30 seconds. Come back up. Then we're going to move to our right. Hold for another 30. Back up. And then to our left for another 30. We're going to continue to do that for 2 minutes. Beginning now. Make sure you're breathing. Coming back up, making sure you're inhaling and releasing as you're going down to your right. Inhaling as you're going up. And exhaling as you're going down to your left. Okay, now inhale, going back up. Hold it, and then down the middle, exhale. Getting that full stretch on your lower back. Back up, go ahead and relax it, shake that off. And we're gonna do toe touches. We're gonna do toe touches for 2 minutes. For 1 minute, I'm sorry, beginning now. Back up. Inhale and exhale. Going back down. And back up. And shake it off. What we're going to do now are side knee pulls. So for a side knee pull, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to pull it up and then back out. And then up and then back out. We're going to do one side for 30 seconds and the other side for 30 seconds for 2 minutes all together. Beginning now. Good, doing good. Doing good. Go ahead and switch sides. our next exercise we're going to be doing is actually a wall chest stretch. So what you're going to want to do is grab an empty spot. You're going to want to put your palm against it and turn out. We're going to do this for 1 minute, 30 seconds on each side. Beginning now. Your body. Your body.
Hold.
Doing good. Doing good. Go ahead and switch.
Switch arms.
Yes. Doing good. And time. That is the end of our cool down section and the end of today's video.